Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to preface this particular tarot reading by saying that the question that was posed was a little bit of a sexual nature. The reading itself is not dirty by any means, but I just wanted to give you a heads up and the opportunity to not watch if you don't want to. So, thanks. Good morning, everybody. Happy weekend. Back again with another video, another reading. Strangely enough, I wasn't around for a long time and now just seem to be here all the time making videos. So I was approached yesterday by an acquaintance of mine and asked if I could do a reading for them. And, I'm like, sure, what do you want to know? And so she looked at me, maybe a little bit sheepishly, and explained that she'd been in a relationship for quite some time. And while they used to have really great sex and she had some pretty quality orgasms, that's just not happening for her anymore. So I asked her if it was possible that there were any medical issues, but she said no, and that's definitely not the problem. So I left it at that, and so now we're going to lay down some cards and see if we can figure out what the problem is. So today I'm going to use the AnnaK Tarot. This is the back of the card. They're lovely. I'll show you the box. Really nice deck. Simple, easy to read. I would say this is a really good deck for beginners. I actually trimmed it in black, so all right. Okay, so I'm going to lay down 3 cards, I think. 6 of Swords, the 5 of Rods, and the 4 of Swords. Interesting. I just want to make sure that I have these centered. Okay. Let's have a look here. So when I look at these cards, I definitely see a story being played out in amongst them. So let's start by looking at the suits that we have. So we have swords, rods, or this would also be wands or batons in some decks, and then swords again. So swords and rods. Swords is very much about mental energy, and we've got 2 of them. So I find this pretty interesting because I tend to think that for women, sexual energy and enjoyment, being turned on, being aroused, you might say, is really a mental thing more so than a physical thing. I mean, it is a physical thing, but it's also, I think, a lot more mental for women than it is for men. So we've also got this one rod here, no pun intended, and it's a 5, and 5s are cards of like upheaval, conflict, disruption, and the 5 of Wands can be seen as conflict due to like competition or tension, but it's definitely conflict. So Wands being the suits of a more creative sort of energy, the primal gut feelings makes this 5 a real possible source for the problem. The other thing I'm noticing is what is not here, and that's that there's no cups, and that sort of signifies to me a lack of emotions, a lack of feelings, a lack of emotional connection. There's also no pentacles, and that tells me that there really isn't any depth to the connection that she has with this person. Like, she doesn't feel connected or grounded to this person at all. So, sometimes what's missing is sometimes as important as what's visible to us. The other things that I'm seeing is a run in the numbers. So we have 6, 5, and 4. And so what I'd say is that this relationship was never a 10, but it started, you know, maybe a rebound or something. And now there's here we are at the 6. Now there's conflict at the 5. And then over here with the 4 needs some rest and healing and time for contemplation on her own level. So, okay, so let's look at the 6 of Swords. I'm gonna hold this up a little bit. So the 6 of Swords, I happen to love this depiction of the 6 in this deck. And it shows really clearly that you're retreating away from something that might seem troublesome to you. It's definitely a transition, like leaving something behind and moving forward to make things better, to, you know, move on to bigger, better things. There could be tons of reasons for this to be happening, but I see this person who's pushing the raft as either the problem or maybe even the savior. So if this person is the problem, then I think this person in this relationship is pushing you away through something they've done or even haven't done. If it's the savior, I think that it could be someone else who's of interest to you, meaning either you're just not satisfied or happy and you know there's better out there, or perhaps you've met someone else that you either consciously like or subconsciously like, or feel attraction or feel a connection to. Anyway, regardless, I think you've come to the point where the things that are lacking in a physical relationship are playing a bigger part in your own physical response, a bigger part than you might realize or that you might want. So, you know, the mind itself is a super powerful force. So that's the 6 of Swords. So let's look at the 5 of Rods. And as I said, this is a card of conflict and disruption. And what I started to wonder when I was explaining about this conflict that could be the results of competition is this. Is it possible that this other person is making you feel like their needs, you know, physical needs or whatever kind of needs, are more important than your needs? Like, are they more interested in being satisfied than in satisfying you? And I feel like that's a real possibility. And maybe even if that's not the way it is, it could be, you know, for whatever reason, something is making you feel that you're not as important to them as you should be. So when you have disruption, it really throws off that balance, right? It gives one side or one person more power over the other, and that's not good. 4 of Swords. This is really a card of rest and recuperation and contemplation. And it's a sword, so it's more mental energy. And also, I'd like to note here that there's a friggin' sword in bed with her. So it's no surprise that the problems are in that general area, if you know what I mean. Anyway, so this card, I think, shows the results of what's going on. It's draining, it's tiring, it's maybe even demoralizing. And I think it's important for you to step back and really consider what your next and best move really is going to be. So if your needs, your physical needs, emotional needs, connection, spiritual needs, if all of those needs aren't being met by this person, then maybe the relationship isn't really a relationship at all, right? Maybe it's more of like a booty call. I don't know. So now remember, I'm just reading the cards as I see them, and tarot cards don't often hold back. They're pretty in your face about things, but whatever it is, I think you need to take some time out and figure it out and just, you know, rest and do things for yourself. So last but not least, I'm gonna pull a card from this Oracle deck. This is the Hero's Journey, and I just lately did a walkthrough of that deck. So pretty new. They're still a little bit on the sticky side. Oh my goodness. Ooh. Okay. That's enough of that. All right. So we've got me time. Enjoy your own company. So, well, isn't that what I was just saying? So take some time out for yourself. Get a handle on what's going on. Relax, rest, do the things that you enjoy doing. Find out what it means to, really enjoy your own company again without that other person. I don't know, maybe you should be, I'll just leave it at that. But since this was a question about orgasms and this is saying to enjoy your own company, I'll let you fill in the blanks. So I think that's all I've got for this reading. This was a super interesting one. I really enjoyed this one. I could go on, but I'm just gonna stop it right there. So I hope this helps. I hope you found some answers or at least some new avenues to consider. For everyone else, I hope you'll come back again and see what's up later. I do have plans for a walkthrough of another particular deck that I've actually had some questions on lately. And so I'll see you then.